Hello everybody, welcome to another supply drop. Got a new game today. This comes to us from our friends at Furor Teutonicus. Look them up. Let me tell you, okay, so the game is Crossing the Line, Aachen 1944. So what we're doing is a shrink wrap ripping initial look at some components. I read the rule book once. I'm a little bit familiar with the contents, but since I just got the game today, I'm not 100% familiar with all the mechanics and stuff. So, we'll make this as informative for you as possible if this is a game that you've seen or had interest in, or maybe it's your first time seeing it. So we're going to see what we can do to, inform you on it. Okay, so how did I find out about this? Well, I found out about this through a random Facebook post, just going through. And I've seen a couple people now post up some pictures for it. So I went to the website, and it's really good looking, a really crisp looking game. I'm not sure how to explain it. I like computer games and computer graphics, so I would say this had a very slick user interface. So when we look at it, hopefully you'll see it just looked really, really cool. So I actually reached out and asked them if they would like me to do an unboxing for them, and maybe later down the road like a review and a playthrough. So they sent me a copy. So they were very generous in that. So I want to make sure that I show you everything in here because I thought it was really good. Now that was the front. This is the back of the box. Battalion scale. This will probably be one of the first kind of strategic level games I've played where you have to worry about like zones and controls and things like that. I've played like a couple small ones from Tiny Battle Publishing, but this would be like my first big one with like a big map, lots of counters. So just some of the components. It's got the rule book, one map sheet, 431 extra large counters, 4 double-sided player aid cards, 2 double-sided setup and reinforcement and withdrawal charts, and 2 10-sided dice. We'll see how extra large the extra large counters are. I've been kind of spoiled with some other games that I've played. Here's some 15mm actual size. So maybe what is that, about 5/8, little over ½ inch maybe. We'll see how they feel in the hand though. Yeah, when I hear extra large, I'm thinking like Flying Pig games where they're like, these huge 1-inch counters, 1.5 inch. Feels like some of them are big. Knight of Man. But what do we got here? It can play solo, it says. Now, I don't know if it has a solitaire bot. I don't remember really seeing that, but I think the game just was well enough designed that you would play both sides, but it has a very high solitaire suitability. Again, since I haven't played it yet, I can't really tell you how friendly it is, but they say it's very solo friendly. And the complexity is just past 5. They got it rated at a 6. Which is good. I've tried my hand at some very complicated games, and sometimes they just go right up on the shelf, so I'm excited. Now, from the rules that I've read though, and you'll see, the rules are actually very friendly to read, very easy to read, and they got a lot of pictures and examples. So I think overall learning this would be good now that I have all the components. Now, one thing I'm going to share is I probably was expecting this to arrive a little bit sooner, but when the box came in today, there was a nice note attached to the box saying, "Oops, sorry we damaged your package in transit. We repackaged it as best we can." Kind of paraphrasing it. So that had me worried. So when I opened it, I only really saw just a little bit of damage on a corner. So I don't know if maybe they dropped it or what they did, but I was really worried for component damage. I think just maybe this corner. It was just ever so slightly kind of dinged up a little bit. So, I think the components inside are fine. The box for the most part turned out okay. So the post office, they really like giving me scares. Alright, so I'm going to pull this off camera just a little bit. I'm going to try not to bump the camera around too much. Okay, shrink wrap. Be gone! Be gone, shrink wrap! And now we can free the contents. Here comes the lid. I like that. Sherman, Panther, very stylized artwork. Looks very nice. So we're going to go ahead and pop the lid. Set that off to the side. Yeah, you can tell some things got bounced around a little bit. Well, actually not too bad. Only one item popped loose. It looks like kind of a big singular item. So this isn't, looks like the package and contents came through just fine, and that's what I was worried about. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, let's look at what we have here. Here's a nice combat results tracker. It's got your terrain types on there, your dice roll, and I believe, if I remember right, again, just going off my memory, I read the rules like a week and a half or so ago, so things might be a little spotty, but I think you can place this on the combat table and use that to slide just to help you find your information, and then there's your die roll. So I thought that's kind of slick, and it gives you the key reference there. So again, just a handy, clever little tool. We'll see if we can actually set that out here in a minute. There's my 2 die 10. I got lots of dice 10 now around here. Here we've got some of the counters. So extra large in comparison to, say, maybe older, just straight 1/2 inch. Yes, they're big. Extra large. Like I said, I've been spoiled by some very, very large counters, but I'm going to pop one. This is some of the things that I really check for, though, is how well do they pop out. I'm just going to grab one here on the corner. That popped out real nice. I wouldn't necessarily say they're pre-rounded. They're not sharp corners, so if you have a corner clipper or you're that type of person, I think you'll be just fine clipping these. The only thing is, it's got the nub, the cardboard nub where it attaches, right in the middle of the counter. I know some people that bothers them, but it only has 2 attachment points for each counter, it looks like. So that's not too bad at all. But they look very good. The art on these is very nice. Very clean. They're centered well. So I'm just pointing out things that I know a lot of people look for. So they turned out good. Also on the back, again, centered very well. You can easily read them. Even though, you know, I can read these. I think if I had these down on the board, either side up, the symbol should tell you what it is. But if I had to read the text, I don't think I'll have any problem. They've got good coloring, so they got nice white text on the blue. It stands out. Even down here, the whole counter isn't that brown, so you've got a nice white band that makes the text pop out. It's like assigned or improved defense, your snafu, poor luck there. So these are good. That's a good counter sheet right there. And here there is a counter. Looks like it did pop out in transit, so I'm gonna have to find that in the box here. But then here's some of the units. Now this is, to me, I don't know why, but I thought these unit counters just looked very slick, very simple, but clear. They're easy to read. The numbers, easy to identify. They got good backgrounds. I just thought these were really good design. A little picture for the vehicles. Probably, see, that's the thing, is because I don't play a lot of these higher level games. I'm not too familiar with a lot of NATO symbology. So, you know, some things I'll have to learn. But I can see what unit they belong to. Probably like their division. I think 2X's is a division. See, just some little things I have to learn because I don't play at this scale. But it looks like, at least for the armor, you've got a nice little side picture of the tank, which I always like. I don't know, I'm a visual person. But I thought these were clean. Not super cluttered, but they have, looks like all your combat information just down here, and it's pretty easy to see. And I'm holding them away from me just so I can say if I was a couple feet away. I think they did another good job with their background colors and the text. They have like a drop shadow around the 3, if you can see that. So it'll help that pop out a little bit. And then of course those numbers in the nice, circles and kind of polyhedron type shape in a square. So those are good. Okay, some units. Yeah. So I don't remember what all of these were for, so I'm not going to pretend too much to know what they are, but just kind of let you look with me at some additional counters. And I think, again, they all stand out very well. All clearly able to read these and centered really well. So I don't see anything that's been miscut yet, so that's fantastic. Even on the back side, I never thought that I would be happy to see that. I think I've picked up a few games over the years where I've seen enough offset counters that it almost feels like, meh, that's just something that happens. So I thought I would really call out the fact that these are centered on their counters really well. And again, very easy to read. They just have a simple elegance to them that I just saw, you know what, I really like those. And again, some more improved defense with the little stripe at the bottom to easily read them. So again, love them. Yeah. And then we've got a few more here. So lots of counters. There's some of the American units, probably some Shermans. Looks like we got a lot of German units. Now, as far as the breakdown between admin counters and vehicle, I don't know off the top of my head exactly how many vehicles there are, but there are a lot of admin counters. So of that 436 counters, I think they said there was like 180 combat units and then a lot of admin counters. So I don't think this is as unit heavy as some games are. Obviously you're going to get quite a few to play with, but a lot of the counters are admin and informational for you. So I don't think this would be too difficult for me to get into. I just know I've seen some games that at operational level that sit on the table for a long time and there's lots of stuff to track, but I'm feeling pretty good about this one. Okay, I have a counter that popped out of the counter sheet and I have yet to find it. I have the big one I showed you, but then I've got one over here. I got a small one. Just a small one that popped out somewhere, and I have yet to find it. Oh, that's going to bother me if I lost that. I'll be like, where did it go? Okay, I'm going to try and unfold this map. I can't get it all unfolded on this unboxing. When we go in and do like a review later on, I'll have this pulled out all the way. But just on my initial look, wow, I got it upside down. This is a gorgeous looking map. I love that word today because this is a real beauty. It looks like it's going to be a pretty big map. It is on paper. It's pretty good. It feels good. We'll see how it holds up to me folding and unfolding. I have in the closet a poster, the poster plexiglass for hanging posters on the wall. I'll see if that will fit in there to keep this nice and flat. But the artwork looks great. I think it's really good. I'll just hold that up to the camera a little bit. I can see little city areas built up. I see here's like the line, all the tank traps and things like that. Yeah, this is really nice looking. And you've got information here on the side. It all looks good. I mean, it's just such a slick looking game. So yeah, we'll look at that another time. We can unfold it, lay it out, and let you take a look at it in its entirety. Let's take a look at some of the player aids that you have. Yeah, so if I remember right, I saw somebody somewhere on like your combat results table. I think when you're trying to find what you need, die roll, but you can just kind of move this along. And I just thought, that is just such a simple, clever little thing. So I've got my type of terrain, and just line it up here, just to help you line up your die roll with the number. It's just such a simple little thing, but I thought that was clever. I've not seen that before. But here's the combat results table. I mean, I really don't know what you all think, but to me, like I said, this just had a really slick kind of user interface to it. Everything is just graphically done very well, and it's not super chart heavy. So everything, I think the charts are easy to find. I don't feel like they're cluttered with charts. Very clear to tell what they are. German unit recognition. Oh, good, because like I said, I'm not super good at knowing all of that off the top of my head. But I've got the partially filled battery symbol. Got some with wheels on them. Cool. Oh, okay. See, it's starting to make sense. I believe. Let me see here. I wonder. Yeah. U.S. replacement infantry, armored infantry. Then they got tanks. I don't know how many different types of American units they have, so I don't know I'm looking here. I was just wondering in the back of my mind if they had like a NATO symbology for American troops. So is this really the kind of symbology that the German troops used instead of like NATO symbols? That's pretty cool, actually. I like that. I know, I feel like I've just discovered something new. I probably have. I usually don't see these at the smaller tactical level games, so that's pretty neat. Anyway, I got 2 of these. So there's a general chart B, 2 chart Bs, and I got 2 chart A's. So each player can have a chart. Here's terrain effects, combat sequence laid out very nice. See, again, I just thought just sets a sleek presentation on everything. It's laid out so good, so good. Sequence of play overall, current formation activation levels. Here's your counters in action, explaining them. Again, not overly complicated with all the numbers and things on there, but easy to see what they are and what they're for. So I'm going to set that aside. There's the second chart. All right, what do we got? This is the campaign scenario 2 board setup. All right, everything that you're going to have associated. So again, like I said, I don't think this is as unit heavy as I've seen in other games that I've played. I mean, especially ones that I've seen where I've seen some Battle of the Bulge games that just had squares and things for counters for day. So I think if you were kind of getting into strategic level games, this might be a good one to start with. And this is reinforcements and withdrawals, master chart per turn. Yeah, see, now we're starting to see lots of stuff that I'm used to seeing. Like, yeah, that's a lot of counters to bring on the board. So I think we've got 2 of those again. Well, actually just 1. There's 1 for campaign and scenario 2. Here is scenario 1 and 3. Scenario 1. Oh, lucky. Looks like scenario 1 will be rather simple for me to start with. So thank you for what looks like an introductory type of scenario. And then on the back, reinforcements and withdrawals, master chart per turn. So we'll see how that all works out. Perfect. Very nice. And then, aha, found it. Oh, it did get squished. Oh, they bent my German battery unit, whatever that is. Oh, man. That's no fault of the game. This, according to the postage people, this game had a very rough life in transit, so I'll have to flatten that out. Here's the rulebook. Now the rulebook kind of feels hefty, pretty good weight to it. Nice paper. This looked really good online. Yeah, by the way, the rules are online. You can go to their website, Furor Teutonicus, and look them up. Furor Teutonicus Games. Look them up, and you can see they've got pictures of the game, just a few pictures of the game, but the rules are online. So the rules clocked in, overall the entire book clocks in at, where's the page number? Page 40, right there, I'm looking at it. But some of that looks like there's hints on gameplay. You got a glossary at the back, thank you, glossary/index looking thing. Perfect. There's designer notes. Now you've got campaign scenario. That's a couple pages. I don't think this was in the online book that I remember, which is fine. Page 35. So we're gonna, oh good. Your first scenario to kind of get you warmed up to the system just takes place on one small part of the map. Thank you for that. That's less intimidating. So actually it looks like your rules might clock in at 33 pages. And I'm just trying to get this to open up here. Yeah, because then there's some reinforcements, admin phase. I don't know if any of this is like optional or advanced rules. So yeah, the admin phase is like the last thing that it takes a look at, and that's on page 32 where that ends. Well, actually, I guess it ends on page 34 because then you have victory conditions at the end. So page 34. Now, check this out. This is something else as I was reading through. I'm going to move this box. Again, I thought this was a really nice looking rule book. And it is an easy read too. Here's your armored fighting vehicles involved in the game. So you got quite a few types there. They've got different types of Shermans, different Wolverine M10s. It could just be the same, but they've got different artworks. I don't know if that's supposed to be representing the different models or just the fact that there's different artworks. Tiger 2, Nashorn, Brumbar, your Jagdpanzer, 4, Jagdpanther, your Stug Life, Stug 3s, Panzer 4s, Panthers. So they got some variety there. Yeah, the paper it's a nice, almost kind of magazine quality to it. It's got that nice kind of glossy coat to it. And it's really easy to read. And the graphics in here, nice full color, so it's really easy to see what it is they're talking about. So it really enhances everything. Explanations of combat units. Yeah, gorgeous, gorgeous. So even though it's 34 pages, again, you've got yourself this quite a few layouts and graphics to help explain things. So I'm definitely going to enjoy reading back through this again. Nice clear example of what overstacking, so what can you put in a stack. I love that. Whoever put this together, they just did such a really, really good job. It's like a graphic artist person said, hey, let's put together a war game, and I'm glad they did, because this stuff is all really sharp. Supply, command phase, initiative as you pop into the operations phase. Good examples for like following your supply line. I remember reading it, like checking for isolation, who's out of command. It's all written. I had to say, either I'm getting used to reading rule books and things are just making more sense, or this was written really well. I tend to think that this was just written really well. As you can see, it's got nice size font, 2 columns again, which makes it really easy to read. It's not like a cramped 3 column. It just goes really well. But yeah, I'm going to have to reread this because my memory from the week ago, I forgot quite a bit. But now that I've got all the components, I can lay stuff out and do that first scenario. But I'm just kind of flipping through, so apologies if I'm skipping a few pages, just because I want to show you here what it looks like. German recognitions, it says there, or reorganizations up there. And as we got back all the way through. So again, even the rule book is gorgeous. Oh, we got a nice little sequence of play right there on the back for me, just to bring it all together. All right, so that is Crossing the Line, Aachen, 1944. I apologize if this didn't explain the components as well as you need. Once I've had a chance to kind of fiddle and play with the game, I'll be able to come back and when I do the review, maybe explain a little bit in more detail what the bits and pieces do for you. This was just mostly wanting to show you what comes in your box. So you get your rule book. We have 2 player aids that tell you the units involved for your scenarios, and looks like we got 3 scenarios. So 3 scenarios, and there's like a campaign and scenario 2. So we'll put that there. We then had 4 player aids altogether, but there's chart A and chart B, 2 of each, 1 for each player, and they are double-sided. And these are some of the prettiest looking player aid charts I have ever seen. I'm going to put those back in the box. And then the map, which we didn't open up all the way, but I'm going to use that word again, another gorgeous looking map. Even the little trackers and things on here just look so good. I'd say that's what got me. To me, this is like probably the most visually stunning game I've seen in a long time. As far as like a real serious looking war game. I know that's probably gonna have a lot of people go, what do you mean a serious looking war game? I play all my games are serious. Well, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I just think it's really good looking, really, really good. And then finally we had this one. This one popped out, so we'll put that back. That cool combat results reader. And I'm gonna flatten this marker out, and hopefully I can save him or them. They represent lots of people, so I'm going to see what I can do to reconstitute them. And finally, you've got the lid. Oh, and the dice. Don't forget dice. And there you go. That is everything that comes in your game. So go check this out. I think they have a Board Game Geek. I didn't go to Board Game Geek actually to look this up yet. I just went straight to their website. So if you can read that, Furor Teutonicus Games. It even has down here, Conflict Simulation Engineering, made in Germany. So yeah, check this out. Go to their website. They also had, last time I went there, there's another game in the works, so keep an eye on that one. I think this is like the flagship game of their company, and if they maintain this, I think they do really well. Now, I did read somewhere, I think on Facebook, someone asked if this is like a redoing of another game, which I don't know the name of the other game, and they said that I wouldn't necessarily say it's a continuation or a part 2, but if you are really familiar with war games, if this looks familiar to you, then yes. I think they were saying that it is maybe loosely based on this other game. Like I said, I can't remember what it was. I just know someone might look at that and go, oh hey, that reminds me of this game. Is this based on that game? I'm going to let you know that maybe. It might very well be based on the game that you're thinking that it's based on, but it's not necessarily the same mechanics. Similar maybe. Alright, just thought I would throw that out there. Anyway, hey, thanks for tuning in. Let me know what you think. If you have got this, what did you think? Have you enjoyed it? Or do you plan on getting it? I'd be very curious to see if this is one that you would be interested in. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. I'm not sure when I'm going to get this back to the table. It's going to take me a little while to read it and figure it out, but I hope to get this to you here pretty soon. Alright, thanks a lot.